Delicate getting the first pick. Get three, Pyro, get three with the
Wade Kid putting on a clinic. Whole team's down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Hello, everyone of the Overwatch Tranquility community. Welcome to a Wednesday trans tier match here between the LiJiang Legion, who are sitting at a 2-3 record, and against Blixkys, who are 3-2 currently. Now, this will be an interesting one. The first match of Stage 2 for both of these teams, the first week of Stage 2 for all of our teams competing right now. So this is kind of the time. This is the crunch time to be pushing forward for those wins. But quickly, before we get into this match, again, a huge shout out to you, the community, for hitting that $10,000 donation goal for Rise Above the Disorder. You guys are awesome, and me and Beak here both love to be casting for this awesome community. But again, moving into these two teams, I am your play-by-play Worst Cast, and I am joined here by my great friend and main tank partner in crime, Beakcast. How are you doing, Beak?
I'm good, Worse. It is finally actually good to get a proper cast between the two of us here. And what ends up being, I think, a really big game for both of these teams. They're kind of teetering, in the middle of the pack. They have similar records, so I think this has a lot of stakes going into this match. And we have Blixkys, which is a 3-2 record. However, two of those wins were given to them. Let's just be honest about that, just because of the fact that the other teams have forfeited. So they've been fortunate in the scheduling, but that's also unfortunate in a lot of ways, right? They're looking to prove themselves. They want to make sure that they can be respected in their record. And I think tonight's a good starting point, especially now that Stage 2 is beginning and we have kind of a new chapter of the rest of this season, to start proving themselves even more, regardless of those wins in the past of what happened in Stage 1. But LiJiang Legion, they're out here to prove it as well. They're trying to get back to 500. They've won against some good teams, and they're trying to keep that rolling.
Yeah, and obviously these two teams stuck in groups with Alpha for Blixkys and LiJiang Legion was stuck in that thing with Ghostly Peppers, two of these strong teams here in the trans community. But before I forget, as we enter this thing, we do have the amazing Booth on production. Didn't want to forget that shout out to him because he is doing an amazing job behind the scenes and can't give him enough credit. But we will be moving into this game very shortly. Of course, because the first map is Control and it is predetermined before the thing starts, will be Oasis. Now, LiJiang is in the pool, but Blixkys must be very happy to avoid playing LiJiang Legion on their home turf in that first map. Of course, if this game does go to a map 5, we could see LiJiang Legion possibly pull out LiJiang for themselves. But to start here, it will be Oasis. Now, this is a very interesting map, Beak, so what could you expect to see here?
Well, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward that you would expect to see some type of brawl competition. Honestly, I think we'll see a lot of brawl the entire night. However, some of these Transcendence tier teams don't really like to play a lot of brawl. And I think that might be interesting, but I don't know if we'll be able to see anything variation from that, even if we have Nervy Titan playing around on the Wrecking Ball in spawn. But I assume that they're going to go to that either Zarya or D.Va, as we see the Zarya getting pulled out here. And we got an interesting thing. We have Blixkys going with Aspect on the Doomfist. We've seen a lot of Doomfist run at the highest levels of tier 2 lately, and it actually been really effective because having a D.Va on the other side doesn't always protect it. But the Zarya is online for them.
Yep, that Zarya obviously does provide that bubble for that Doomfist, but again, does save against that Doomfist as well, as we do see the Lamp getting forced out very early here from Yandere, as they will be pushing forward. Aspect finding that punch onto Sky, does manage to eliminate the main tanks as both Rhines are traded. No shield available now as Bamf on that massive killing spree here, as Aspect and Bamf running wild. Zarya in the back lane does trade out Bamf in the end. Nervy finding that revenge kill, but won't be too much of a bother, as in fact taking out Vesp as well, trying to 1v1 the Zarya. Maybe not the best idea, as right now will be traded out in the end. That's a big stagger on Nervy, but they did get that Lucio down late, but should be fast enough with that speed boost.
I do love the aggressiveness of Vesper going for the kill, just being a bloodthirsty Lucio, but Nervy Titan already 80% of the way there for that Graviton Surge. That's going to be a really good advantage as they go and try and hold this choke coming in.
Yeah, it will be LiJiang Legions trying to push back on this. They do in fact find one, but a massive 5-man shadow coming out here for Zui as he does manage to clean up this fight that was looking a little rough there. Reaper getting that, Shadow Thief getting that early kill could have given them that point, but Zui says, no, I won't let you, and manages to take down all 5 by himself.
And that's such a massive play because the easily won win condition just from one, I mean, you can throw out the window, that's, you know, kind of a garbage ult at any time because it's built up at any minute. But look at all the win conditions they have coming into this next fight with over 50% of the ticket already. The grab is coming out right now.
Yeah, the Rhine in that backline does get that bubble hit, but the counter grab going out. The shield gonna have to be massive here. Does manage to block the shatter, the immortality, keeping them alive, but even through that amp matrix, that High Noon will find you even through that shield, bursting it down. Yandere trying to survive, but no lamp to speak of to keep them alive as Bamf on the side does find Potato, but will be quickly traded out by Nervy Titan as LiJiang taking this point, stacking it up, but 72% already for Blixkys.
And that was a really expensive fight though for LiJiang. I mean, look at all the ultimates that they had to invest there just to be able to finally turn the point over. But regardless, Blixkys still in a really good position with his High Noon, and Shatter coming in now and does get at least a 1.
Yeah, a Shatter coming down very early, but does get traded out immediately. That charge, maybe not finding what he wanted there. Shadow Thief does get a lot of that Blossom damage there. Nervy Titan flanking once again, finding a double kill as Fives takes out his equal on Vesp, as now holding on this point 30% and counting here, but of course, there's still plenty of time to go.
And I think the fact that Shatter came out really early, I think changed the focus of Blixkys going in because they forgot that Shadow Thief was around and had that Death Blossom, and that caused a lot of chaos as that fight began.
Yep, slowly going to be going on this aggression here. Bam, looking for some shots in the backline. The trade kill does come out, and of course Reaper being flattened between those two Reinhardts. The German bodies taking out the Reaper, but now both lamps being forced out here in that grab from Nervy Titan. The massive jump shatter will tie up into the air. Sky does find his equal on Zui, but will be traded out with, and will get traded out very quickly by ZF20 on that Zarya, getting some revenge for his main tank. Is right now pushing forward, trying to eliminate Shadow Thief. Does not have that Wraith, but still will take out Aspect there. Nice trade kill, giving them the DPS advantage, but right now ZF20's on a rampage looking for that extra kill, but cannot find it.
Oh my god, that B comes in from Fives, but nothing really is happening. But yeah, this Shatter coming in from a couple minutes ago was wild as the B comes in from the counter for Blixkys.
Ooh, a massive backline Shatter here from Zui. Does find the pin onto Sky, managing to take it out that Reinhardt. No shield available. Straight into that backline there is now a quick 100% to 65% capture here for Blixkys, taking round 1 of Oasis.
Well, that was a way to start things.
Yeah. It was quite a way.
I still want to go back to that Shatter, what happened in, I think, the last matter of that fight, in the sense that he had the right idea with the Shatter, the shield is breaking, he had people lined up, it gets booped, and still is able to find the Shatter targets just because that they couldn't really get away from it, right? So it seemed like it was a slow motion Shatter coming from above, almost like the cutscene, I think, from the Overwatch 2 short, you know, what seemed like 3 years ago now. But yeah, what a turn of events. Gives Blixkys the early lead on Oasis as we see a Sim come out here, but probably going to be swapping over to something else. Maybe the McCree, I would assume, but Shadow Thief might be staying on the Sim, so this is an interesting development with not usually a Sim on this point.
Yeah, we will see the Sim coming out here, but there's no Reinhardt and it seems to charge up that Symmetra beam. But right now, the ball of ZF20 going to be looking around for some poke damage, maybe some displacement, as on the bottom line, it will be Fives getting found out here by Bamf with that headshot, as now rolling into the back line, the Hamster looking for more victims, as Potato, in fact, does manage to trade out 2. Both the supports here down for Blixkys, but does not seem to deter them. They have all that forward momentum, and Bamf, given all that space, manages to find 3.
And what's really good is X2FO there was able to boop a lot of them off that high ground. I don't think anyone was suspecting that a ball was going to be in play here with a more mobile dive composition. But really smart here by Blixkys so far, and just being able to utilize all the mobility that this composition has, because this is going to make life really hard for Sky. I mean, who is he going to be aggressive on in this brawl comp that they have? And even when they try and take this high ground, what are they going to do with this?
Well, trying to charge the ball is what they were trying to do, but doesn't manage to find it. ZF20 managing to slink out of there. Aspect managing out Shadow Thief. Doom, well known for his ability to go into Symmetra, just bypass that choke that she can't control as Potato. Managing to find that Zen once again. Nervy Titan on the back line as well, but does get traded out very quickly, and right now it does look like they will be holding on to this point. Blixkys, some very good point control here coming out in this second round, looking to end this quickly.
Yeah, I'd like to see some changes coming out from the side of LiJiang, but it doesn't seem like they will, right? I mean, I think moving over towards the Reaper would be a good idea, but also I think a Mei would be equally as effective, and maybe even the Sombra. But let's see how this Reaper works out for them.
Yeah, we do have Aspect taking out these opposite Potato, going down, finding the Sky Strike there from Aspect, managing to take out 3 all in one fell swoop as Bamf managing to clean it up. I just forgot what Doom Results was called.
It doesn't matter, because Aspect just ate his Wheaties this morning and is just killing everybody as they try and make that rotation. And that's the problem with this comp. It's so highly mobile, and they're trying to path through such a small little area. That's perfect for a Doomfist. And even with Potato almost nearing his own Doomfist ult, it doesn't really matter, because look at the ultimates coming online for Blixkys in this last and final fight.
Yeah, the grab, but even will trade up that Shatter for those mines, but actually misses. The mines weren't active yet. The Shatter does in fact miss. A Sky now getting absolutely bullied by Aspect. NZF20 right now does manage to get that shield. Is Aspect, as he will survive just a little bit longer here. The grab going out, well, just straight into the trance. Nothing that Nervy Titan can do, and that'll be a quick 2-0 take here for Blixkys, starting off strong, 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, the first point was actually pretty back and forth, even if Blixkys having the advantage there for most of the game. But that was just all Blixkys there towards that last point. Is just, and the composition that they played there was absolutely perfect. You see here Aspect getting that 4K on the Doomfist. Love that ability, love that character. Super fun against main tanks, wouldn't you say, Word?
Yes, as a main tank, I quite
we
enjoy
say that. Yeah,
Doomfist.
We say that with no bias whatsoever. But
No
yeah, I
sarcasm
mean,
here.
it's just LiJiang is gonna have to kind of go back to the drawing board, because I don't know if that's gonna be a specific thing for Blixkys running on Oasis or any type of control map. But how are they going to counter what they're bringing here early on?
It's going to be difficult because you're going to be seeing a completely different map coming out. That's the thing with this on Control. Control is one of those oddball maps. You see a lot of strategies you don't see later on. Obviously, we do see the Ryan Zarya, and that's pretty... that's not unique to Control, obviously, but that Symmetra kind of is. You don't see Symmetra on many other points besides Control, because that TP does get you back in the fight very, very quickly, and along with the choke control that it does give you on defense once you take the point, you don't see a lot of Sim. The only other map you would see it on is maybe a Hanamura, but we might not even see that in this series. So it's always hard to gauge a team's comfort on Control, because it's usually pretty varied.
And what's super interesting about the ability of Doomfist being in this game is the fact that both teams are running the Zarya. And the reason why I think there's been a lot of Doomfist coming out almost like in surprise lately in the last couple of weeks is because of the prevalence of a Rhine Diva with a Mei and McCree, right? The McCree and the Diva might be able to mess with that Doomfist, but there's no protection for your main tank when all you have is a DM, right? So you can really bully the Rhine as much as you want with you when you have a Doomfist and you have a Zarya throwing those projected bubbles. But both teams had those tools, right? So it's just Blixkys executing better with that Doomfist and Aspect, just wrecking havoc in the backline, especially when it was that compositional difference of the more mobile main tank in that wrecking ball, just causing havoc as they tried and make those rotations. So it's been devastating so far for LiJiang, but they're only down 1-0, so it's not over yet.
Not the end of the world here. We can't come back in this, obviously. Many teams have done it in the past. This isn't unique in any sense of the word in terms of going down the first map. Control known as a very variable game mode at times. You can see a lot of better teams can often sometimes lose to not worse teams, but maybe not as practice teams at times.
Right.
But if we're looking on here, we actually see a swap coming in. X2 X2 will be coming out for Crafty. Now Crafty moving in here on tank, she might be able to tip the scales here in a different, maybe they want to try a different strategy here. Maybe they don't want to, they saw the ball coming out from X2, so maybe not expecting any of that here like they did on Oasis, so maybe that's what they're going for.
I hope the 2001 in Crafty's name isn't an indication of her birth year, because that just makes me feel really old. So
Well, that makes you feel old.
I don't want to hear worse. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your birth year. I don't want to hear it. All right. Regardless of people birth years and Zoomers and Boomers alike, this is a pretty interesting composition coming out. From I believe it's LiJiang, right? I think
it's LiJiang.
Just to make sure we want to have the colors in the right spots. Yeah. So yeah, double bubble still very prevalent, especially Echo still very, very powerful. Let's see how Blixkys is actually going to be able to return the favor here, as they're running the much more traditional composition. That's pretty much the same thing they are running on that first Oasis map.
Yeah, we're going to see how they can do this, but that Doomfist might find some issues here walking into that Tracer and that Echo. Both obviously do a very good job of avoiding all of his abilities, and because he is an ability-focused character, when he doesn't hit them, he's quite useless. But we'll see if he can bully out this Monkey here. Doesn't manage to find it, is forced to back off quite immediately, as we do see a rotation onto this high ground here from Blixkys. Monkey being forced to jump up, but he'll be able to get that jump back up in time. Going to be looking to control this choke, perhaps, as that Tracer on that outside. You see Bam looking slightly for it. Does manage to get the recall out, is now pushing onto this high ground, the tank line, though can't get out of that choke quite yet. Being forced in there by that Echo, as now the Monkey here, Sky going extremely low, gonna have to get healed up by the Ana, but Doomfist going in and straight into his death. Again, that Zarya bubble doing a very good job of lessening his impact. Sky jumps in, misses the bubble onto the high ground and falls down, and so does the Monkey's corpse, as they will be going to the ground here. No res available on this defense, and Potato going very low as well. Does have that copy, a very, very early copy, maybe looking for this on this, finds the Lucio, not what they wanted, looking for that tank, does not find it. Vibes will get traded out, and while they do have a backup Lucio for this push, it's now kind of a little bit over at this point. Seems to be going quickly in the favor of Blixkys.
And I think what really was the big difference maker there is LiJiang allowed Blixkys to be able to have that high ground rotation, right? It was slow, it was not the most well executed thing, but they still eventually had them. And the dives that Sky had, even with those bubbles, didn't really get a lot with them, right? They had the backup, even with that pick onto Aspect, didn't really do much. And of course, I mean, all the while Potato was building up that Echo ult and farming them, but not really finding any kills. And then of course the mistake, I don't know if, I assume it was a mistake, onto the Lucio for that duplicate was unfortunate, I would say, but maybe they were trying to go for some big brain strat where they give the team additional shields by building up that sound barrier really fast. But, overall, once you let that composition from Blixkys on the point, it's pretty much game over, even with Nervy Titan and Sky already having their ultimates, but it's too late for them.
Yep, and as we were going over that, there was a quick pause. Bamf did have a little bit of an issue on that mini health pack, but he is back, and we're back in action here, as the grab here from Zui was actually forced out in the end. So, a good trade there, not going to have that ult to snowball, as we will be pushing onto this second point right here, and looking for something. We do have that nano available onto that Monkey. That's going to be the thing is right now, Sky is getting punched off here by Aspect, trying to control that high ground as much as possible, but he will also fall himself. Going to be trying to get back up into the Monkey. The nano does come out, does instantly kill that Vest. So much damage here from Sky on that nano Monkey. There's just so much cleave damage, not much you can do about it, but Vibes on this backside might get traded out. Zui looking for him as Potato on that high ground does find Aspect, and Aspect is going to have a little bit of a tough time walking into this McCree here. Does have that flashbang available if they do get a little bit too close.
Yeah, and they have to back up here. That's Blixkys smart to be able to do that. They do invest a decent amount into that fight with Jabba throwing that nano onto Sky. But even with that nano, Sky was getting straight up bullied after that projected barrier. Aspect just targets him every time he dives in. And they have to give up this high ground almost immediately because of the presence of the Ryan Zarya comp with the Doomfist. You have to respect it.
Yeah, and now Novi with that grab could be looking for something. Sky can go really aggressive here. Does have that primal available. Two beats both coming out. Aspect looking for this Meteor Strike onto this high ground. Does not find the kill with it, but will find the follow-up with Potato. Potato living with 1 HP. A good pocket there from Jabberwocky, but Sky, even with that ultimate, does go too far into the backline, does get traded out. The anti, though, onto Bamf there, could find his life forfeit, but instead finding Shadow Thief with that flashbang headshot, as right now pushing in. Sky will be taking a dip here, taking a swim as Crafty sends them to the Doom, as now going to be trying to stagger back onto this point here, but cannot find an Aspect, finding a clean punch onto Shadow Thief, fighting the touch at the point, and now that'll be a 2 2-point capture here for Blixkys with still 3 minutes remaining.
I think that was 100% calculated by Crafty. What do you think, Worst?
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe it.
100%. Yeah, forehead play there for sure. But again, it's the same story as that if you let that composition be able to go in, and of course the grab gets invested early by Nervy Titan, but both of those barriers are thrown out, and that allows everyone to kind of stay alive. And even with the really good peel from Jabba onto the DPS when Aspect is diving in, that's still the matter of resource and allocation as attention, right? So if you're allocating all your attention to peel for your DPS that's on point, you're letting the enemy tanks being able to take that space on that point a little bit later, and then it was already too late, right? So this composition that LiJiang is running is good, but it has to be fast and it has to be executed really cleanly versus the composition that Blixkys has, which is just, we're going to press W into your face and we're going to sustain for a lot longer than you, right? And that monkey is a lot more fragile than any of the main tanks that we have here, but it's also really good because of that cleave, right? So the value from the Winston, not what they were looking for, but let's see, maybe on this attack, they can dictate the pace a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much fun this monkey will be having into this Zooey swapping over to the Hog here. Yeah, Hog known to be quite of a pain in the butt for a monkey, as that scrap does a ton of damage, even with the new armor changes calling the monkey. Have cam the monkey in the past.
Ryan Hog.
Ryan Hog.
What do we see this? We see this in gold games on our Friday night meme nights for us.
I play this in ranked when I get tilted. This is what I do. I just pick the Hog.
Are you the Hog? You're the Hog?
No, when they take my Reinhardt, I just pick Hog. As Sky will be rolling in here onto this high ground, does force Bamf to roll away, as now you have Vespa on that high ground, uncontested Aspect, managing to find Shadow Thief there. Direct counter is down, no more hit scan available, as Doomfist will be taking on that roll to try and take them out, as well as Jabberwocky. But right now, it doesn't look like no one will be able to contest them, as Shadow Thief's still walking out of spawn. Potato on this flank, looking for something, as Bamf finds another thing onto Nervy Titan, and Aspect as well, on a little bit of a rampage here, managed to take out both support and Sky in their side of the map, past the choke point. That's a little bit of a move there from Aspect, trying to make some plays, but they will be keeping this point down for now.
It, man. Stop doing this to them, man. And I think obviously some changes have been indicated as Shadow Thief now on the Genji, as you can see here. But yeah, I mean, just the killer DPS coming out from Blixkys right now, just ending fights even before they really begin. We saw Sky try and take this high ground in mid, but really wasn't able to do much with it just because of the damage and the spam from Aspect.
Yeah, and we do see Aspect looking for this Genji in this backline. Sky does manage to find Best, but the main source of healing is gone. Aspect just barely managed to get that pocket in time, as 5 and off the map they go. And right now, Hog is running a terror. Does find Sky, like I said, very hard to run that monkey into the Hog at times. Once your bubble is down, there's a hook coming your way because your hitbox is bigger than a dinner plate. And that makes no sense in a lot of ways, but if you're a main tank player, you understand.
5s though, is that just a tactical reset? I don't know what's going on as we see the full investment into the dive is Nervy Titan going over to the ball, just trying to cause some havoc in the backline. So Shadow only 50% to that blade, whereas Jabba has that almost nano ready to go. You almost wonder if they're going to invest that nano early onto Sky and then try and build another one, but Sky's dead already.
Not then. Not then. They're not going to get the nano off, as it will be Potato on that point, trying desperately to get something working. Does not manage to find it, as Blixkys will be holding on this point even further right there, as Sky jumped in, didn't have his ult, and just died. And now, in the about 2 minutes 30 seconds it took to build up that ult from Sky, he is now swapped off to Hog, resetting his ult charge completely, realizing maybe, just maybe, I don't want to play Monkey into a Hog and a McCree and an Echo.
It's a story in 2 parts, right? When you're playing that competition, Monkey jump in, Monkey die. It's pretty simple. So the biggest win condition though for LiJiang as the hook, oh nice try. Shadow Thief has to get this blade ready to go as 5s dies again from a hook. That's nasty, and that's going to cause some things to back up a bit here. And Shadow still only 85% to that blade, really needs to get that going. But look at all the ultimates in the treasure trove for Blixkys as well. And then you have this high ground from Vesp is just really well protected, especially with Bam sitting right next to them. This is going to be a really important blade by Shadow Thief and Jabba. They have to execute here, because if not, things are looking pretty grim for them, as we have 45 seconds to go.
You do have that Nano Blade, going to be looking for this. Will be jumping up into the air, does find the dash. The sleep though, managing to sleep the auto, massive deflect coming out here from Shadow Thief, managing to outplay the direct counter there, as right now we'll be chasing that Mercy down. There's a sleep as well. Wow, massive sleeps coming out from both the Ana and the Genji of all people for the side of LiJiang Legion, as they will be pushing to make this point. The copy does come out. Zui still on that point. Will not last very much longer as Aspect flying around in that air, but will be found by Potato. A massive play there from LiJiang Legion, does find that Nano Blade, that combo they were looking towards, but also just massive sleeps coming out there. A nice deflect from Shadow, and of course Jabberwocky, the follow-up sleep onto that burst, securing that kill.
Yeah, Shadow Thief just clutching it up when it matters most with that excellent reaction time from the deflect, sleeping the enemy Ana, and they save some ultimates here, right? It's better to not have to overinvest that, so they have this beat to be able to push in. Maybe they can snowball this, but Blixkys has some ultimates of their own.
Oh, Jabberwocky almost didn't take out, does find that nade onto that pillar like they were looking for. As right now, the beat will be coming out here from Fives, as again, Potato going to that backline looking for his best. You do find it here as Nervy Titan does manage to get on that point, takes out the enemy main tank in Crafty, and the mines do find Vamp as well, as right now Doomfist in that backline will be getting chased down by Sky. Now it's their turn to control this point, prevent the staggers from coming in. The Shadow does find a max amount of damage, but just no follow-up. The nade, Ana still in that backline uncontested here, as the High Noon does come out, does find the D-Mech onto the Diva, but not much else, as blocking all those shots with their body is now Zarya on that point. Personal bubble already forced out here as Potato desperately trying to get the kills they need as Aspect comes back in, finds two, and now Potato looking, trying to use his nano, just barely misses the Valkyrie Mercy, and now Bamf in that backline, uncontested there, does just manage to ping him down with those shots ringing out. As now, Yandere does find that res, doesn't manage to get the res off, moving out just a little bit too quickly. Is now holding on to the point in a very clutch stall.
That, my friends, is that's 2 CP, everyone. That's why we won't see this game mode ever again after Overwatch 2 comes out.
Oh.
Man, I mean, we thought that was completely winnable for LiJiang, only for those spawns to just get ahead and just Aspect getting enough kills to make a difference and turn that fight over. But now Shadow Thief has another blade ready to go, but Jabba doesn't have the nano they invested in that last fight to try and clutch things out in the end, and it didn't work out. But Zui has this grab ready to go in case, and they might grab this Genji as soon as he goes in.
Yeah, looking for that grab on that Genji to counter that blade, but could be waiting for that nano as Potato does find Yandere with that Meteor Strike. The counter grab does come out immediately as the blade will be coming out, not even waiting for that nano, does find Best, but shouldn't find much else. Actually, the bomb finds Zui as Shadow Thief finishes up that Crafty there on that monkey with that second swipe of his blade. As right now it's just McCree on point, does manage to find him. Aspect went that far back line, does find the kills he needs, and now no one is left alive. It's just Sky available. Nervy Titan coming back in very quickly here. Ana as well, trying to control from the back line, trying to get the healing they need. As right now it does look Nervy Titan dropping the mines onto the point. The Zarya just on the corner, trying to survive as long as possible. Potato finding a full right-click punch, taking out 300 of their HP right there. Bam does manage to take out Potato with that High Noon. Is now Nervy in the backline looking to survive against his Doomfist. Looks to manage to do so, has almost taken an Aspect, but the Meteor Strike is there to save their life. As now the Genji looking on that Mega does manage to get it, but will not be living very much longer, as I will beam them down as quick as possible. And now Bam finding the picks they need to secure this point for them, and that looks like it's over here. Blixkys will be taking the second map as, again, another Nano Doomfist though does manage to get them out. Fives fighting the final elimination with that boop, but it just doesn't look like it should be much, and Fives finds a 2 double kill here for that Lucio, but the res does come out onto Aspect, and now we've seen Aspect manage to get so many kills himself, as now it's just staggers available. But Nervy Titan on his second mines here, looking to get it as soon as possible, does manage to put it down, but it's just him available. Shadow Thief, 1 HP will be found out. Getting grabbed up is Nervy Titan. Sky trying to run in, but the overtime burns down way too quickly, and now Blixkys taking that second map.
Oh man, devastating for LiJiang as they go down 2-0. But it was just they could taste the victory there in that last fight, but that's just the nature of how things are in 2CP. You need to have clean, decisive victories on that final fight to actually cap the point. I mean, every time they'd win the early fight, but then they'd get traded out at a couple bits, and that allows Blixkys to be able to come back, allows Aspect to come out and pop off on that Doomfist just a little bit, and that gives them all the window that they need. And it's just such a shame to see it, because then you saw LiJiang invest even further into every fight. Not only just ultimates investing further, but then also time, right? Just they're fighting those fights even longer when they have to realize that, you know, they're losing that fight. They gotta back out. So even some of those early picks you saw, like when Fives was getting a couple of those pop-off moments on Lucio, there's still only 2 or 3 of them there, and it was like a Lucio and a D.Va. Like, you're not gonna win that fight with the advantage of the spawn for those defenders. So you have to have a clear mind and back out. But, you taste blood in the water and you have to keep chomping. I understand how that feels, but that has led to an 0-2 hole.
Yeah, and now Blixkys looking to show themselves that they are a real threat coming in these playoffs. Obviously, we mentioned in the beginning they didn't really have the maps or the matches to really talk about. Two of the matches obviously not really being a match, it was a forfeit. But we will be looking here to see if they could take out LiJiang Legion and push into trying to take the top of this group, because they obviously think they might be able to do it here, trying to show off a very quick, strong start here for Blixkys. As LiJiang Legion looking to push back, trying to get back into this here, as it's not over. It's never over until you do it. We've seen reverse sweeps. We've been reverse swept before. We know what it's like. I wasn't there for it personally. Not my fault, but
Of
it
course not.
happens.
Of
It
course not.
happens.
No,
I
of course
never do anything wrong, obviously.
not.
But we will be seeing here what they're going to be able to do, as we will be moving to a quick halftime break here, trying to get back into the action as soon as possible. But please stick around because it'll be a great time.
つよりも気なるですね。
Welcome back, everyone, to the match here. Blixkys taking that early 2-0 start here before halftime against LiJiang Legion, looking to further cement themselves as a serious contender, not only in the group they're in, but moving into playoffs here, as that's what Stage 2 is all about. Obviously, these teams are in their pools already, so they don't have to worry about not being knocked out of playoffs like the elimination bracket teams do. But they do want to get those higher seedings to show off that they are a real threat to be taken seriously, as that's what Blixkys is looking for here, as quite honestly, they've shown it right now.
They definitely are, but now I think I want to focus more on LiJiang here because now they're 2-3. They're down 2-0 in this series, and they're heading to Eichenwald is going to be their hybrid map coming up. And if you look at these first two maps, Aspect has pretty much reigned supreme, at least in the kill feed. That is of 4 Blixkys, right? So I think how, if any, will any strategies will LiJiang come up with to be able to negate the Doomfist on the side of Blixkys, because they are doing so much work. And even if they're not getting kills, they're forcing out all of the abilities in that backline for LiJiang Legion, which is making everything crazy, right? Then, of course, sometimes they have the ult, which is that get out of jail free card, or just even additional frags. So,
Yeah.
Aspect and the rest of this team are doing really well and pretty much dictating this entire series. So, LiJiang needs to reset here and start this reverse sweep early on Eichenwald.
Yeah, and we do show something very interesting here, I think. Crafty did obviously come in for X2FO in that second map, taking over that tank position. But now we actually see here it's going to be Bamf being subbed out for X2FO. And
Right.
Bamf, I thought, was doing a very good job on that McCree, was locking it down, hitting some shots. So I think it's very interesting that they're swapping in that player that was playing tank before. Obviously, they're showing off a very flexible roster here. But it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out, what kind of strategies they're looking forward to, because having these multi-role kind of flexes for specific maps isn't something we typically see.
No, I mean, but that's if they can do it, then why not? I mean, we certainly know a bunch of people in our community and elsewhere in this Overwatch community that are gods on all different roles, right? So if X2FO can prove himself and be the effective, role and be the effective player on that role, then that's absolutely the right decision, as we'll soon see as we get into this map.
I mean, obviously trying to make use of that 10-man roster they have, one of the bigger rosters we do have in the Transcendence tier. I think probably the biggest one we do have, as Yeah, it's quite a big roster, obviously showing off that they have a lot of players that can get in and get playtime if need be on specific things they do, in fact, want to do. As we do see interesting here, we do see a swap off, we do see a Hanzo and a Reaper. No McCree available, when it has been kind of shown that McCree has been a very strong character here, especially in these ball compositions with this Reinzaya, because he not only offers that medium range, he also offers that control with that flashbang. So opting in less for that control and more for that insta-kill potential with that Hanzo, but I'm not sure if that trade is worth it a lot of time in these mirrored matchups.
Yeah, and we'll see that Hanzo, I mean, they're just going to have to play a lot slower, right? Play slow, play for spam, play for picks. But yeah, that McCree is essential in these brawl compositions these days. But honestly, at this level, anything can go as long as you execute well.
Yeah, and it does look like he will be throwing out some pot shots, looking for that headshot, looking as well for that Doomfist. Obviously, no stun available, so you're going to have to keep him out of range. He does manage to find that seismic slam onto the outside, and a little bit of chip damage, but nothing much else there, as Crafty will be looking forward, pressuring this forward pressure, but instead getting a lamp forced out very early despite being behind cover. Quite a little odd of a use of the immortality there, but they won't have it for this next engagement. As in fact, it will be LiJiang with that immortality advantage, plus a 30-second cooldown on that, a very long time as Potato manages to find Aspect even without that flashbang, and also finding Yandere in mid-jump with those boosting boots, of course, as they will be moving forward into the spawn, trying to take the fight to Blixky after those last two maps. Obviously Alpha Blood here.
Is that a new ability that Hanzo has? Is that a DLC for him?
No,
I didn't realize that.
It was the Baptiste
for
boots.
BAP, of course. I was gonna say, I don't know if that's it's a paid edition that I didn't pay for, but regardless, really good defense by LiJiang already, and this is what needs to be done for them to hold, is for Potato to hit those shots as that window already comes through.
Rotating immediately around that window, as there's going to be a little bit of a pincer attack here. A grab onto the backside. The immortality does come out, but it will be instantly taken out, as well as Crafty, as now the Reaper unabated by that immortality field. No defensive ult available here from Vesp, and that will be a quick ace here coming out here for the side of LiJiang Legion.
Interesting though, I mean, they invested a decent amount of ults there, and really just the grab and the Death Blossom, but Potato was nearing that dragon almost instantaneously after they pressed Q for that, so I wonder why they wanted to be desynced on that, but they're throwing it in right now.
They're throwing it in right now. Does manage to split off the team, looking for the DPS. He gets punched straight into them. Potato feeling the force of his own dragons, and quickly Best taking out the kill. But now the charge does get interrupted by that Graviton Surge. Maybe a little bit too aggressive of a push here from LiJiang Legion, despite being on that defense, as the dragons don't find their target. Manage to split off the DPS, but once they get pushed, the tanks aren't with them, and they get thrown straight into a wall.
And again, I understand the attractiveness of playing Hanzo, especially with the high ground going into this Streets phase, and Shadow Thief, you know, being able to burst down the tanks, and maybe the Doomfist if he misses abilities. But you're just inviting Aspect to have an even better time in this backline, right? There's no one really to see him at all than maybe the boop from Fives and a shatter or a pin from the Reinhardt. So, I mean, more and more value is going to come from him as we see this grab coming out.
Meteor Strike looking for two, doesn't manage to find it, since the Hanzo flying away as Aspect in that backline will get taken out by Shadow Thief. No abilities available for them to escape, as now Crafty gonna get pushed as well. Not enough support to keep them alive. The Baptiste jumping away, but not be able to escape, as now it only is Zui trying to run away. And we actually see here, interestingly, it is the X2FO moving over to that tank, and Zui, the fact that has been playing on and off that main tank and off tank position, will be swapping over to the DPS, so I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I was curious about that. I mean, they actually they started the map on DPS, but I was forgetting if that's you know, that's something that was normal for them. But regardless of that last fight, Nervy getting another grab and already have 32% for that next one coming up as the cart rotates around this corner, and they have beat ready to go. Both of these teams do, as well as a window from this high ground.
Interestingly, not going for that closer hold, instead opting to controlling this high ground, giving up a lot of space, waiting for it to go underneath the bridges. The McCree here from Aspect. Actually, Aspect manages to find the thing with the uppercut, but they did have Zui with that flank fighting a lot of damage. There's a massive shadow coming out from the sky, but won't do much as Zui on that flank unabated. We'll just be able to pop that High Noon. There's nothing to threaten him there, and that's the perfect use of High Noon when there's no CC cooldowns available for the enemy team, and the Hanzo's already preoccupied, so he finds the thing, and they manage to push this into the last next phase at second point.
And also so much of a good flank is the timing of that flank, right? Zui didn't show themselves until that Matrix actually went down and they started committing in main. But, you know, that's really good, and they was able to get a lot of kills from that.
Yeah, and now they're going to try to retest this point here. We'll be throwing the Dragon on the card, trying to keep them off of it. The Immortality will be coming out here very quickly, as now the Reaper to follow up once again, showing off that they try to look for that as much as possible, force out the Immortality, and then into the Reaper. Does find one, and quickly followed up with Crafty going down, as it will be Vesp on this back line. Will he go unseen? No, he won't. He's getting found out. They will be TPing back up there, try and take him out, but they won't. Vesp, little froggy boy, will be zooming out as fast as possible.
Yeah, and LiJiang, even if they win that fight, still are disjointed on this Grav Dragon. You would think that that's a pretty standard win condition for them, but they still are able to call away on this fight. So now they have one more fight here, at least Blixkys does, going into what will hopefully be third point, as X2FO has that Grav ready to go. But they're not trying to take this high ground curiously, and that actually they paid dearly for it. Shadow Thief taking out Zui early.
Yeah, and now we do see here that Aspect trying to take that high ground on that Doomfist. Uses all of his cooldowns to get up there, and instantly Potato will be taking him out.
No.
As they were just trying to buy space for Vesp to get that C9, but instantly spotted out here by the eagle eye of Potato. They managed to go back and take him out, and now C9 has been averted.
And again, have to reset here for Blixkys, and this could be dangerous for them if they're not careful, because Nervy has another Grav ready to go. Potato can build this dragon fairly fast, but they're going to try and take the inner castle and see what both of these teams have Grav. What are they going to do with them?
Yeah, they will be pushing into this choke point. The Shadow going straight into the shield. As now, just a bunch of particles here as the Gravs do get traded out right now. As, ooh, Crafty going for that Shadow, but just too much damage through that Ant Matrix. As instead, on the other side, Aspect does manage to find Potato, but won't be enough. The team fight has been won. The counter Graviton Surge coming out much later than X2FO's one does manage to get more of that damage down, especially with that Ant Matrix available.
Well, shatter into a window is a dangerous and high-risk high war possibility, because everyone's going to be dropping their guard to go full-on attack. But that's also the downside of this. So there's going to be last fight, and Zui has that High Noon ready to go as the dragon is already coming in. 5 seconds to go here.
Buying a lot of space, they managed to split off X2FO from the rest of their team. Zui managed to find that kill, as now it will be Zui looking for that High Noon, booping the Reaper up in there, but he does have Fate. He'll be fine. High Noon is gone now, as Shadow Thief pushing forward does find Crafty. Aspect in that backline looking for something, anything. Does manage to find Jabberwocky, but that Reaper on the cart will deny any squishies from trying to contest as much as possible, as Vesp does find the boop onto Nervy Titan, but it will be instantly stopped by Potato, saying no more of that, as again ending X2FO as well, and showing off that this Hanzo pick is legit for him. Maybe more comfortable on it than his McCree.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good start for LiJiang in what could be that reverse sweep, is getting a good hold on Streets phase on Eichenwald. And I think it's so important, is if you don't take that high ground in Eichenwald point B, then you probably won't get the point, right? And of course, Ryan compositions are very popular right now, and that's really good. And you usually see some Winston here, or at least some type of die composition is really good, just try and take that high ground in a more dynamic way. But yeah, I mean, just the fact that they weren't able to rotate successfully, or at least Blixkys wasn't able to do that without falling victim to 1 or 2 picks from, whether it was Potato, whether it was Shadow Thief kind of hiding in the background, getting an early pick on that McCree, and just drawing time out from the side of Blixkys, right? So now this is going to be really important for them, because if they're able to make a statement here and win this map, it's going to be a whole new match.
Yeah, of course, looking to try and push back here. Overwatch, very momentum-based game. You see this all the time. Moods go up and down mid-series as much as possible, as we do see an early look here at a Symmetra. I don't know if we'll keep on this, maybe just doing a little bit of a TP out of spawn to swap. We did see this on Oasis that didn't really work out for them super well. On the other side, we do see that Ashe Mercy with that Zen, so that Reinhardt going to be starved for a lot of healing. It's going to be on Crafty to play a lot more defensive than they normally would.
And if they go with this composition, this is going to be really devastating for X2FO on the Diva, because what are they going to eat? Like a Fire Strike, but look at all the zap damage and the cleave damage that can go through that is basically doesn't have anything to do with that DM.
Yeah, and now pushing on to this point will be TPing straight on here as X2FO in the backline does find Jabberwock before they can even get out the immortality field. Most of the value of Baptiste is now being negated. Doesn't even have the time to get out of his mini defensive ultimate, and he will be traded out very, very, very quickly right now as they do manage to get a Diva mech at the end there, but maybe not enough of a consolation prize for losing that team fight.
It really isn't. I mean, the fact that Jabba is the first one to die there's no sustain for the rest of the LiJiang team on that point, and which is what you absolutely need, especially after taking that space. So, you know, really good credit to X2FO and the rest of the team for that focus fire on that target, not even let them get that disc out.
Yeah, and now pushing again with that Symmetra TP. Does manage to find X2FO on that Diva, is now looking to charge up the Symmetra beam with the Rhine Shield in the way. Actually just TPing on top of the Ash, looking for that right click. Does a ton of damage. Is right now finding the Shatter is Sky, taking out Crafty there, and this is the time to take this point here, but they have to watch out. Aspect is on that high ground on that Hanzo and is doing some damage. Nervy Titan realizing this is looking to get on top of him. The Trance though will be committed here by Best, maybe trying to get something on the backline, but it looks like he's working off a Potato. Even through that Trance will be one-shot by that Doomfist punch, as now it's just a Zen in the corner being beat down by a Monkey, as now once again X2FO demeched and taken out. But they do manage to get the res onto the Hanzo, but the point is captured, and Crafty does manage to use that Shadow once again straight before dying to get any effectiveness out of it.
Again, just a game in a matter of seconds here. You had that Shatter coming down, and as soon as you press Q, you die. It's really devastating all to be able to lose, especially when you aren't even going to really have a high likelihood of retaking that point. But I think Blixkys was trying to get more value than they probably should have, and now the high ground control is already given to LiJiang. This is really bad for the side of Blixkys.
Yeah, and now they try to push this high ground with that Symmetra, sticking on top of it, as now throwing over the Duva Bomb over the top. This X2FO does manage to find Skies. They will be retaking this high ground here, chasing down Potato on that Doomfist, but not managing to find him just yet. But instead of that, Aspect does manage to find him with that bow and arrow, as right now it is Fives trying to duel the Hanzo, but Best intervening, saying, no, I'm going to be the main support that'll kill you. You won't kill my Hanzo.
I think the most important thing here, though, is that Blixkys quickly adapting to what LiJiang is bringing with this Monkey composition. Now they have a dive of their own, so Crafty has moved over to that Winston, X2FO staying on the Diva, and they still have a Bob ready to go to be able to contest this card, but this is going to be tough for someone like Sky, because what are they going to do other than escorting this card?
Yeah, and now the Bob will be going to that point, trying to contest this low ground as much as possible. As Aspect flanking around that backline, does manage to find Jabberwock, looking to find Nervy Titan as well. Nervy Titan on 33 HP will be taken out very quickly, as that Bob does in fact find Fives. Mega responding just in time, giving Aspect the ability to come back out and pop Shot of Deep as well, as these DPS here for the side of Blinky are just absolutely uncontested, doing so much damage and even flanking around on these sniping characters.
Yeah, I mean, they have all this high ground and the angles that they can just play around with, and the problem is Sky being on this Reinhardt is really at a disadvantage, especially on this point. I understand the value that Reinhardt will bring if they get it to point 3 or point C, but they don't even need to do that because the win condition is even before that. So I think use the Shatter, then maybe swap off if things aren't going their way.
Yeah, and now they will be finding Jabberwocky dying again to Zooey, showing off that he can play that hit scan role just as well as he can play that tank role as we saw him playing earlier. And now it's Potato in that backline. Just this is going to be a reset here. Nothing they can do. As now just trying to get this Reinhardt trying to run out of here, but Crafty's not going to let him. And Aspect drops the dragon straight on Sky's forehead. That'll be Sky taken out of here, but you did get 2 ultimates just for a resetting fight there. So maybe not the most worth thing you could have done here if you are Blixkys.
Yeah, the composition the LiJiang's running, it's like a hybrid of they want to brawl, but then they also want to dive too. Like you can, the 2 high mobile characters of Winston and the Doomfist can dive and be agile. But then the rest of that composition wants to be in the face of the team. But then, yeah, I like the idea of trying to take this high ground here, but Sky needs to use his Shatter fast, but they're already kind of low.
Yeah, and right now Fives will be going into the pit of doom. They're finding himself there somehow, as he also did that on Volskaya, as a massive shadow coming out from Sky, but the immortality field will save him at the last second, but still very low here and low on resources, as Zooey's just managing to spam away. Aspect once again on that flank does find Jabberwocky. Sky did find the charge kill, on to Shadow Thief, but won't matter as Zui will be getting rezzed up quite quickly. As now just look at the pushing on this card, but the monkey here actually, Novi, jumping up, does have his ult available, but won't be able to use it before getting taken out by the opposing monkey, as they did get the rally out in the end.
Yeah, but seeing overall being on that Reinhardt for that long, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, honestly, right? You got a big shatter, but you still end up losing the fight because you waited too long, you were too low, the rest of the team was low, and the kills came in for the other team because that shatter doesn't last that long. So looking into this, we do have that dragon coming in from Aspect, and they're trying to take this high ground control, but let's see if they can actually do it. They do have some ultimates for LiJiang.
Meteor Strike coming into the back line, managed to get Crafty very low. The bomb here from X2FO is going to have to be kited out. Will get kited out, but his mech so very low. But will get managed to demech in the end, as they will be the Doomfist dueling the brick here. Shadow Thief getting in on it as well. Not managed to find the shots they need as Aspect, once again, Aspect just popping off on that flank, managing to find that Lucio, but now there's a big monkey with a pocket in front of him. Nothing he will be able to do against that. And we're pushing in, trying to cap this, try to take this map and keep this series alive here. LiJiang Legion looking to get the map here.
Yeah, it does seem like my feed did die, so I am not seeing
so
anything.
Zui is on Pharah now, for some strange reason. They've swapped over to that Pharah. The Shadow Thief ulting in that choke now, as Novi Titan will find the melee kill onto Vesp. Zui extremely low on the backup point, trying to survive as long as possible. The Valk coming out of here by Yandere. X2FO demech on the point. Jabberwocky finding two, including that Pharah acting as the hit scan for his team. Sky finds a 3-man bomb, a massive answer to the question, will it take this map? And he is echoing out loudly, yes, yes we will, as we will keep this series alive, moving on and trying to get this reverse sweep as soon as possible. Now, taking Eichenwald is LiJiang Legion going up, trying to tie this back up, but only 1-2 in this series and have all the momentum going to the next map.
I love it. I got the feedback as soon as that bomb came out, and just perfect timing. And just what a clutch performance by LiJiang Legion towards the end. I mean, Blixkys fought hard and almost can't turn it around really and cause some heart attack for LiJiang. But I mean, that's why you'd be playing the Diva over the Reinhardt there, and that dive composition just making so much more sense for the side of at least point A, or at least point B, excuse me. And I think that was a lot closer than it needed to be, but now we got a game on our hands. LiJiang really stepping up to the plate and being able to have a really good defensive hold, which leads to this win.
Yeah, and now it kind of looks like it's turning up in their favor here. They did show off that they do have what it takes to try and fight back and fight these maps. It was very close at the end there, don't get me wrong. Time was winding down, but with that forward hold on that going into the end of that second point, managing to get those ults in that choke, and obviously kind of, in my opinion, a very strange pick onto that Pharah. Pharah, one of those characters that you don't really want in a stall situation, more of a character you want for when you're in the middle of a point where you have more space to kind of do your own thing with that freedom that the space does provide. And you don't really have that trying to recontest as fast as possible because they're going to be in your face the entire time, not going to give you that space. So honestly, that was quite odd there. I might have not wanted to see that Pharah, but something else, but I don't really think it would have mattered, as LiJiang Legion was just having a very forward hold there, had the ult advantage as well, and obviously Sky with that bomb, no matter what character you're playing, that's going to do some damage.
And I mean, the Pharah, I don't really understand either, but it's a high risk, high reward pick, right? Because the fight is going to be focused somewhere else, right? So, and it's not like they had really like a diva of anything to try and negate that. So, you could try and free fire with all that splash damage from above, and it might work out. But like to your point, I mean, it didn't really, right? And that's why we had the advantage of LiJiang towards the end, especially for all those other factors in terms of the ultimate and the aggression, which is really good. So now in our fourth map, we're going to be actually heading to Rialto, which is Blixkys' pick going into this. So it should be really interesting now that Blixkys has actually lost the map. How are they going to be able to respond is what I'm looking most forward to seeing.
Yeah, and it seems that they've been very like have some leeway with when they want to swap up things, when they want to swap in people for different roles or different maps or whatnot. I'm gonna wonder if we're gonna see that as well, as it could really be anything here, as it will be seeing BAMF come back in for X2FO. We did see that roster work out for them on those first two maps. So it's going to be interesting to see if it does work out again for them here as we're moving on to Rialto. Obviously, this map, one of the most recent maps, but it's most recent as in like a year or two, because it's been a while since a lot of the maps have come out. But it will look to what these teams are kind of running I mean, Rialto is a map that has a lot of things changing over. It's always been kind of a meta map in a lot of ways. It's kind of conformed to the meta for most part.
Yeah, I mean, content in my Overwatch? No, absolutely not. No, I completely agree. And I think this one will actually lend itself to a lot more long-range DPS. We obviously have seen a lot of different looks tonight, a lot of Doomfist for a lot of reasons. However, this might be a little bit of a difference. So, and we'll see that Potato coming out with the Hanzo yet again. And I think this is actually a really good pick for them, even if it was Blixkys' pick in the end. So as we see the Zarya getting thrown out by Nervy Titan, hasn't played the D.Va really at all this map or this match, I would say. Zooey teasing the Orisa. I highly doubt that this composition is what they're going to be throwing out.
You don't want the horse?
Well, I don't have a problem with the horse, but I think the other team might have, especially if Aspect's going to try and run this Bastion. I've seen some unironic Bastion run in some of the different orgs and communities that I've been casting for across the last couple of weeks. So I wouldn't put it past them, but I highly doubt they're going to put someone as skilled as Aspect on this Bastion. But here we go. The caster curse is wrong again.
Yeah, they will be swapping over here, looking for this pirate ship composition. They do have this the space for there's no close hold coming out here for LiJiang to deny them that cart. But you will find that double shield composition here, but you do have a pretty good comp to get on top of it. You have the speed, and you can just try and run on top of this Bastion as soon as possible. A little bit of a misstep here for that Baptiste, but the Bastion does go uninvaded here. We'll just be getting all the shots they need off. Potato is in the back line, just throwing off shots. Kind of in a meaningless fashion, not getting enough damage into that self-healing as Nervy Titan does manage to kill Bamf on that back line, but will be getting pushed out by this Bap and this Mercy. And the Mercy will be getting the res off on the...
Yeah, I mean, the rest of LiJiang just kind of run into a buzzsaw that is Aspect on that Bastion. I mean, they tried to play it right with the kiting, but I mean, once that Reinhardt dies really early, then it's just all over and downhill from there. They're going to try to get a last-second recontest, but the barrier is already destroyed.
Yeah, and right now, Sky absolutely melted. You do see Nervy Titan swapping over to that D.Va. Known as a very good pick into the Bastions, but didn't even matter there. The DM could not save their main tank. Instantly just melted through. The shield doesn't even matter as you see this Orisa and this Reinhardt just providing so much protection to this Bastion. No one can get on top of it. And right now, 5 minutes pushing into second point of Rialto.
Yeah, the LiJiang is shooketh right now, I think is the Shakespearean way to say this, because they don't really know what to do here. They do have Potato with this dragon to be able to throw into the point, but they can easily out-heal this. So they have a lot of ults coming in on the attack here that could be very dangerous.
Yeah, you do see the Bastion all come out very early, trying to get on this high ground with those rocket jumps, not quite finding the height they need, as now he's out of position. This is your time to jump on top of him. He's not where he needs to be. You do see the immortality field coming out immediately, but he's out of position. Oh, Sky! Just a little bit off on that charge, and now Zooey will be finding the pick on both the Potato and the Sky, and now nothing left. That was really the chance to dislodge this Bastion here, as he was out of position, wasn't set up, and they still couldn't even take him out.
It's such a tough thing to dislodge. You have a Torp turret and a Bastion in turret mode with a shield going on this cart, and it's like, how do you take this, right? You don't even have beat yet.
Yeah, and right now you do see the shadow going out as another counter shadow onto that point doesn't really find what they need, as now the splooge will be coming out onto this point, and now nothing they can do, finding a triple kill with that Torbjorn ult, and right now it just seems like a clean roll into third point. 5 minutes remaining, going for the speed run here. And the Aspect is a little bit happy on that card, a little bit excited. So is the Orisa chart. Okay, all the DPI switches coming in here for the side of Blixkys. They're excited rolling into this
DPI
third
buttons
point.
assemble. This is wild. I mean, if LiJiang isn't careful here, then the match just goes right here, just because you won't be able to take over a 4-minute attack, and especially with this Bastion with the window has to be really big here to be able to negate this as the double shield comes out for them. They made the adjustments, but will it be too late?
I don't even know if it's worth playing that game with them. I mean, yeah, you have two shields now, but you're just going to be poking at them from a long range. You can't get on top of that Bastion. That's giving him what he wants, but
they're going to window in front of him.
Moved away from the card. Oh my, Zooey just absolutely just falling over there. Looking to get this res onto the Orisa though, as they do have that immortality field, but right into the dragons, as Aspect running back into it as well. Managing to survive through that self-healing, is now they're turning the fight. Oh no, never mind. LiJiang does manage to win that fight now. as yeah, they got out the cooldowns they needed, used the ult properly with that halt, and just a very good job of dislodging that Bastion here.
Yeah, they finally did it, and now the question is, can they do it for another 4 minutes? Because look at the ultimates they have online on this attack. Crafty, she has that shadow ready to go. Aspect is going to have another ultimate in Bastion coming up. We have the Mercy ult too, and so this is going to be dangerous, especially if they're already going on, ready to go.
Yeah, and they will get the Bastion ult onto the cards, not finding that much value as they said, but they still have a couple more shots here. Getting some damage, pushing them back. Another shatter in the corner. Oh, the massive rocket from Nervy Titan does manage to cancel the shatter, but Clarity does find their revenge, getting the Fire Strike on the Nervy, taking them out. As now it's just them trying to kill this Immortality Field on point, but you can't even do that. So Reinhardt in your backline, Aspect mowing everything down. Nothing they can do. The DPI switches once again. The signal of the end there, the DPI switch is obviously just too strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard to adapt to something like that surprise Bastion. And I said, I mean, other teams and other communities have been running Bastion unironically to good effect so far, right? Because you're playing a lot of a brawl composition these days. But like, if you're not careful, if you don't play it really well, then you can just get burnt over through Bastion, especially for a team that just wants to be silly and take the other team by surprise. And it obviously worked really well for Blixkys. And I think the biggest difference maker is, I mean, another thing I have to say is Crafty. How many times have we seen a shatter come through and just immediately dies? You hate to see it, especially as main tank players on this cast. You know, being just that 1 second off, even a millisecond off from getting a 5-man or 6-man shatter to getting sent back into the spawn room is pretty devastating. But it still, I mean, doesn't matter because they still did the job. They still got a 3-minute and 20-second push on this attack, and we see the first Mei sighting of the entire match on map 4. So let's see if they're gonna come, and I assume they're gonna do a little bit of spawn camping, which I actually think is a really smart idea. Try and make sure that they get not much push, at least, and take as much time as possible, as Sky is proactively going on that Orisa, knowing that maybe there'll be a Bastion on the other side, but that's not what's gonna greet them.
Yeah, and it will be the close spawn hold, as we're going to see they're going to be running out straight right now, going to be getting a wall off under that spawn door, perhaps trying to prevent them from running away into that safe zone. But right now it's just a Baptiste out of position, looking for Sky as well. Fortify does come out, they will be a little bit safe, but Potato a little bit out of position there. Zui on that left side does manage to find that Orisa, and now Bamp going to try to exert his mid-range control. It's going to have to be a little bit of a swap here to break out of this, as the Orisa and the Sigma are going to have a hard time getting out, and that's exactly what they will be doing here. We'll see the Ryan Zarya coming out in response, but even then, you're going to have to do some work here, as even then it's not going to be easy to get past this Maywall, as right now, the Ryan is getting Maywall to getting ran at. The W here from Aspect is just too strong, pressing left click the entire time. The wall up in 2 seconds here, but they do manage to get Bam Potatoes on that left side. Was not sighted fast enough, as now there will be the wall preventing Shadow Thief from running away. Does get his fade out, as now there will be an early grab here as Vest finds Potato. But again, these trades are good for the attack, because it allows them to get back out of spawn faster. There won't be that Mei wall to stop them.
Yeah, but they're still just taking time and time again on this defense, which is exactly what Blixkys wants. And the fact that Vest can just free heal from a distance with no challenge is just devastating, because any time they get low, they just get that Mana nade.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see the MHs coming out here, just blasting down there from the high ground, but Bam managing to take out Fives, does delay that speed boost. There's a shadow coming out here from Crafty, finally managed to get it off before dying, as they will manage to take out that Reaper. But again, they take out Vestman. Another trade kill here for the offense, but it hasn't delayed them so far, but that's one you just can't really give up. They do still have that Baptiste, though. 2
minutes into this attack, and the cart literally hasn't moved from the spawn, right? And Yandir already has another window ready to go in case they need to amplify extra healing or some damage coming in. Potato has the dragons, but what are they going to really do with it? Nervy doesn't have that grab for another 20%.
Yeah, and now we do see the Mitch is going to be coming out very early here to sustain this, as instead it will be Crafty getting ran at. The Ana wasn't there to get that nade in, and the Immortality just wasn't really there. As now the Ana is finally back, but as they have to backpedal, they have to just commit. But they do manage to get the grab dragons out. This is really big for the side of Blixkys, as they won't have that for this next fight, and they were already on the retreat there. I already thought it was a mistake to not just full commit to cart there, because you were going to get wiped anyways, but if it forces out the grab dragons, more power to you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they finally break things open, does LiJiang, but I mean, they're still pressing W onto the bridge of streets, and I mean, you do have some ultimates to work with here. You Sky does have that shatter, but there is the side of the blizzard. Oh, I would say there was a blizzard, but not with that pick. Potato getting a lot of value there.
Finding the shadow onto
Oh, no.
Crafty, but Bamf managed to get 2 on the back end. The grab does come out, but just not enough damage in that follow-up, even though it is only that Lucio full healing. There will be the nano going down on the Zarya, countering out that Death Blossom, but they can't get the cut quite fast enough as the Blizzard chuck from spawn. No, maybe an overcommittal here from Blixkys in a lost fight. They didn't have anyone that could touch the point. They were too far zoned, and now they committed the Blizzard. They're gonna have to commit to this spawn hold or else it won't be worth it.
And they also committed the grab just a couple seconds before as Dewey actually literally like walked past the Reinhardt of Sky, grabs the squishies on the car, but it had any follow-up for that. So the window comes out, but they're still going to hold this choke as long as humanly possible. There's still only 3 minutes left to finish the map entirely, as we do see LiJiang finding the kills and being able to push onto the streets.
Yeah, managing to boot that Reinhardt off, even with that Fortify passive. Was it Fortify or is it, what is the actual name for it? Do you know?
For which part?
For the
For
Reinhardt passive.
Steadfast.
Steadfast, of course, that one. Which will be added to all tanks in Overwatch 2, apparently. So, doesn't even make them any unique anymore, so that's a little sad, but a little nice, but I guess less CC on the ball isn't really what we want. But we're moving into the second point here. They do have this high ground advantage.
Grab Dragon.
They do have Grab Dragons. This is a winning combo here, and they only have that immortality. But if they aren't able to get their DPS in a flank position to kill that immortality, it'll just stay up forever, and they will survive instantly through that Grab Dragon. So we're gonna have to see here Crafty on this high ground with that shatter, looking to get it off before they can get off the Grab Dragons. The grab does come out. The Dragons, the lamp goes way too far forward as they manage to get the Dragons off and take out 2 there. This is now time for LiJiang to push forward. Oh! Sky with the long-range pin onto the Baptiste, and now just getting stuff in the back line. Will get traded out, but shouldn't matter too much as they do manage to get that point in. A little bit of a misstep there from Yandere on the distance of that lamp.
Yeah, no matter what, though, LiJiang is going to have not as much time as Blixkys on their attack, and look at all the ultimates that Blixkys has ready to defend this point, which is notoriously one of the worst points in Overwatch to be able to push through. And Aspect has, man, I keep cursing this man. Every time he has a Blizzard ready to use it, he gets dinked.
So we need you to stop talking about that Blizzard there. But as we will see the Amateur coming up at that beat, denies that 200 HP Fire Strike from the 200 damage Fire Strike from killing anyone. As now Novi Titan does manage to take out Yandere, the Shadow going straight into the shield, not finding anything, but the Nano onto the front line here, trying to get to what they need, but Bamf with that stun onto the Reaper will take him out very quickly as the Blizzard coming out. No! The counter ant matrix into the Fire Strike, like 200 damage, like I said, takes out Aspect and Bamf. The 2-for-1 special, and now a charge onto Crafty. Did get the bubble. The counter pin did come out, but the bubble as well was available as no damage gets traded out on those Rhines, but now the anti will fade away. The grab going down, trying to kill Sui as fast as possible. Aspect back on his Doomfist, trying to push this in as fast as possible, but now on the potato, but the Shadow comes out, takes down Aspect, and they'll push in this point. 2-3 caps here. 2 3-point caps here for both teams. This is going to look like it's going to go to the distance here. It's exactly what you want to see from LiJiang Legion, not being demoralized after that first really fast push there from Blixkys and looking to take this back.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fight here in this squad. I mean, let's rewind even literally 3 minutes ago, and the fact that it was 2 minutes into their initial attack on point A, and the cart hadn't moved literally an inch. That's the problem that they were facing, and the hill that they had to climb. And all of a sudden now they have a decently respectable time coming into this overtime rounds, right? They have a little bit less than 2 minutes, so they will have to push through yet again on this attack. But as long as they can get it maybe to streets phase and have a pretty good hold on their own defense on point A, like this is very winnable for LiJiang, but they have to play this really well.
Yeah, and we will be entering a pause here, a little bit of a quick pause called by LiJiang Legion, maybe some issues there or something, but we'll try to get them resolved as soon as possible and get back into the action. But like you said, I mean, it was that first point. You did see they were having a really hard time cracking open that really close spawn on hold offense, even if they were trading out kills. I think they killed the McCree very early on in that hold and still didn't manage to get out in the 4v6 as the Mei was too much. Then they killed the Mei, and then they still managed to hold on for a very long time. Then they killed the Ana, and they were still able to hold on a little bit until the Ana came back. They had to use their Grab Dragons, and whew, just kind of like it felt like it was just like a really big like like a treadmill where it's like you have the setting where it's like it simulates a hill but it goes
Yeah.
on forever. It's
Mhm.
like that, and they were trying to climb the treadmill, and finally they managed to get the time they wanted. And this analogy sucks, by the way, but
Yeah, because
it's the only one
I
I can
think
think of,
all treadmills can go on forever words, but doesn't matter.
unless you
Doesn't
run out of
matter.
power.
That isn't unless you
Power
that
will
sucks.
eventually run out,
That
right?
sucks.
So
I don't know about that. We can get into renewable energy sources, but
I mean, like,
the big thing that
if
I
you don't
want
pay your
to
energy bill,
that I
they're
want
gonna
to
shut
talk
off.
about is the fact that yes, I was kind of caster cursing aspect with that blizzard, but those ended up being really impactful plays with every time you had a big win condition, such as blizzard going in to this fight that where Blixkys could have stopped and stopped and hold uh LiJiang to even more time. The win condition kept getting killed, right? I mean, that was really important for the momentum of LiJiang to be able to continue through streets when they actually completed streets in a pretty fast time. With that grab dragon coming through, you even mentioned the fact that that immortality field was missed going on to try and save the
I could
rest
have.
of Blixkys, which could have changed things as well. So, right, there's the smallest little details and errors always pile up, and that's how you can let times like this kind of fall through, especially when you have as good of a start as Blixkys did on their defense.
Yeah, I sometimes wish, not wish, but I sometimes think it's interesting if they manage to, in Apex Legends, if anyone plays that with the grenades, they have like the indicator for it where it's going. If they put that in Overwatch, I think it'd be really funny with the Ana nades, because I feel like you'd just see a lot more of those purples come out. Not saying I want to get purpled. Being purpled sucks, especially when you have a Zarya who decides it's time to use their bubble before every fight, as you're not even taking damage. No flame, but all the flame in the world to my ranked teammates. Please stop throwing my games. But um,
Yeah, it seems
we
like you have some experience with this.
man, you try playing Reinhardt in a lot of games of Reinhardt. You get a lot of different Zaryas.
Hmm.
Okay, a lot of different ones. And some of them
I've never
quite fun.
experienced such a phenomenon. I'll have to
I've
try that
never
character.
experienced. Oh, nice. You're saving yourself some pain there. But find a Zarya duo, please.
Yeah.
It's for your own. It's for your own health and safety. But we will be finding you getting back into this game. The pause will be undoing itself right now, and we do see a minute 55 on the clock here for LiJiang Legion, but 3 minutes, which is a good time in all of it's right. It's Rialto. Like finishing the map from Rialto is good.
That's incredible.
But you look at the other side, it's 3 minutes 22 seconds here for Blixkys, and that's even more incredible. And it's like, oh well, you had an amazing push, but we had a better push. That's kind of what it comes down to here. So we're gonna have to see who can replicate that success on the offense here. And
Yeah,
it is going to look like we're going to see a very close hold, but not the Mei this time. Aspect, sick of your casting curses with his Blizzard, and has decided instead, you can't cast or curse him with Meteor Strike unless you try to.
Hey, well, you know what? He's been fragging out so much on this Doomfist character this whole match. Why not end the match with it as well? So it's a little bit different of a flavor on this hold.
Yeah, and they will be pushing out here. They're ready for it this time. Obviously not caught unaware. The charge down at the bottom side does get bubbled well down on the floor. There is no bubble here available as it already has been used, and now Immortality is being traded out. But this is not good. You're getting cart push while in the close hold. This isn't what you want if you are the defense, because the point of the close hold is to deny that cart from moving, and it's already been moving. You've used all your resources.
Already 50% of the way to the grab.
He's
Just
kind
those
of
nades were throwing out high power, 100% charge already.
Yeah, he's kind of pumping numbers right now. He's kind of pumping those DPS meters. And now
Oh, no.
will be Aspect going into the backline looking for this Hanzo. Doesn't manage to find him, but Bam does find 2, finds 3. And now we'll be pushing into the bridge here, trying to deny them from getting out of that spawn. The close hold didn't work out initially, but they did manage to get it with Bam with that well-timed flank, finding the kills he needed.
And also, just play characters that it's going to negate these DPS. Bam and Aspect are putting too much aggression into this main tank, and also the backline just causing havoc. They need to change things up.
Yep, and right now we do have Novitite with that grab on the flank. He does throw it out, managed to find that Baptiste. Oh, the Lucio wasn't in the grab, so he didn't get the Immortality field, and that'll be a click cleanup here as Aspect is on that high ground with Bam. as trying to get what they can from this, as Aspect will go down in the end. Potato taking out the man who had been hunting him this entire match. Aspect an absolute threat to this DPS, and they're saying, we will take it no longer. We are going to shoot you with our guns now.
And the fact that Nervy, I think, is the big standout for LiJiang. Just the farming of the grabs have been so notable.
Yeah, does some really good dragon. They're buying a lot of damage in space, but now the high noon will do so much damage, especially through that ant matrix, doubling all that damage, charged for so long. As now the shadow available for Crafty. This is going to be the point held here, as nothing's going to stop this, stop Blixkys here from cleaning up these members, and now that will be the round complete here, as they do get that first point hold, but it's still plenty winnable. 3 minutes 20 seconds. I'm sure they can try something out here. LiJiang leading out of this in any way.
We've all gotten full held on the first point of Rialto A, which is a standard 4-minute attack. It's all right. Why can't you do it with 40 seconds less, right? This is very winnable for LiJiang, but the key here is to how fast or how long they can defend at that initial 2 different corners, right? So you always kind of play around at that first corner, but then you back up towards that second one with the high ground balcony. So it's a matter of, I'm really curious to see how LiJiang chooses to play this, because we see them flirting with Shadow Thief on the Junkrat, which is a curious pick. But like, do they play the high ground and make sure they fight for the high ground, make sure that the rest of the Blixkys don't try and take that? Do they just try and hold really true to that corner? Do they try and play for some flanks? So, I mean, this is really important, obviously, for the last bit. I mean, they're fighting for their match lives right now. But again, I couldn't speak enough. Nervy Titan just farming those grabs for free, honestly, and just overlapping the Hanzo Potato, ultimate charge, right? So your Zarya is building up their ultimate faster than the Hanzo, which is typically not something you see, but when you're high charge and people are letting you throw those nades in and high powered, it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, we will see them going for the close hold defense here, but making the same mistake, it would seem, as Blixkys did on the last side. But Bamf's on the flank here. He'll just roll down, but Potato actually on that Junkrat, finding this kill onto the Echo. Not something you're typically used to seeing, but he will find that stun, but will get traded out immediately by Potato, showing off that maybe the Junkrat pick isn't as far-fetched as it seems, managing to get the kills he needs with those mines, concussion mines, as now will be going back to his position. The Gremlins looking in the corner here, trying to control this under passage.
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good so far for LiJiang, just getting those Conconk Mine kills on that Junkrat. Not something you see every day. I'm really curious about this this ball pick by Zui. What is the thought process on this so far? I can't seem to understand.
Well, it's definitely not to save the Reinhardt when they're counter pinned, because that certainly didn't happen. As now it's going to be Echo and, well, I guess they just solo kill the Baptiste, it would seem. But they will get traded out very quickly by that Reaper. The Baptiste, though, is dead. You only have that Lucio for healing, not going to save you from that beam from the Echo, doing so much magnification damage. As just now they are going to be trying to fall back as fast as possible. They do have that speed to run away. They do have the shield. They should live long enough, as the ball does come in here, knocks them up just slightly. Sky doesn't have enough healing to sustain this for too long, but Baptiste does come back in. Bamf is on that flank, though. He's looking for some damage here. He's looking for the picks. As the Shadow comes up, finds the ball. Does he pick that onto him? But will get counter shot. As it said, it's really tight in the back. Like you said, grab absolutely massive. Right-clicking into there. That's so satisfying. As the team kill coming out here. 1:40 still left on the clock, however. We're going to have to rotate these ults effectively.
I hate to burst your bubble here, but yeah, look how many Qs they pressed. They used both support ults overlapped. They used both tank ultimates overlapped. And I know there's 1:30 left to go, and Nervy's probably going to build another grab in that time. And the tire is always super effective, but that's a lot of investment in a fight that isn't the last one yet.
I believe as the Junkrat managing to find out another one. The pin coming in from the Reinhardt does go a little bit wide. Looking into his backline, trying to look for this Ana, it would seem, does manage to find them in the end. Best, nothing they can do. As now Aspect trying to drop the copy shadow in the last few moments, but doesn't manage to find it. Going down low, will be chased down here very quickly, but still living through that Mercy pocket. As now the Reaper holding down the cut. Lil looks his high gun very shortly, as Bamf is up there searching for a kill, but still 50 seconds remaining. This is definitely doable here. You have that Blossom.
Yeah, very doable, but I just don't understand the Rhine and Ball combination. I know the ultimate is coming in, but Zui gets trapped in the last fight at the beginning, dies really early with the mines coming out. They can just kite that. I guess you could say that was space created, but they have this nano ready to go. Zui already swaps to that Zarya for the last 30 seconds of this fight. This is going to be really important as they then swap back to Diva.
And now we finally... Where's the... Oh no, Shadow! You can't do that now! No, the fat finger! No, 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 no. That was the one ult available here. Sky does get the Shadow up just in time. Oh, a massive Shadow here, but they can't keep the damage down in time. The anti-down onto Sky will keep them in desperate need of healing, but they can't find it. As now Potato on the backline does find Best. It's such a scrappy fight. The res does come down onto that Doom in the end. As now Jabberwocker finding Crafty in the end. He's in the air, booped up by those conch mines. Diva does dream mech, but Nervy Titan with this grab. But Diva has that mech back available. It's a mind game here with this DM. Can they find it? Looking for it onto the cart. The DM comes out. There is a little bit of time where it's not going to be available. Doesn't find it just yet. Waiting for the second instance. Waiting for the D-back fully. Will fill the grab right now. Nervy, Zooey in that grab does get taken out almost immediately. The McCree taken out instantly as well. Massive Shadow onto the backline does find two. But now it will be Crafty getting taken out. The beat available there. 4 of 5s does keep them alive. Aspect in the backline. Will be looking to find the Juggernaut. Does manage to do it. But we'll continue about Nervy Titan. Full energy on this card. Bam! Trying to get back as fast as possible on that soldier. But can't seem to find it. Yandere will go down. And right now, Best cannot live any longer. And that'll be the second map win here for LiJiang. LiJiang tying this up. Going for that reverse sweep.
Map 5, baby. What
Map
the
5.
hell just happened, everybody?
A lot of things just happened.
My God. Queues were pressed. People were killed. I mean, you know, you want analytical content. That wasn't the time for it. That was just clutch factor. That was trying to kill people at the right time. And, you know, LiJiang just pulled it out when they needed to most. The Junkrat pick of all times was super great. You saw Nervy Titan just farming grabs left and right. Again, just so valuable. I mean, just staring the Diva down towards the end there, just melting them with the high charge and then throwing that grab in, which ended up being one of the biggest, you know, differentiators in that final fight. I mean, of course, the picture coming in for both teams, there was trades, it was chaos, and you can tell in your voice worse. But I mean, that was as high stakes as you could possibly get because Blixkys thought they had that in the bag for most of the time. But I don't understand the ball Ryan. Someone make me understand this, okay?
Well,
I don't understand it.
I have. You said this was not the place for analytical content, but I got some analytical content for you. Okay.
Throw it to my way.
You saw Shadow Thief there with the Death Blossom, and they were so scared of it, right? And then he presses it, and it shatters them mentally. They're just done. They can't do it anymore. Like,
well,
what are they supposed to do?
If you're thinking on that level, then it's GG. You know, I mean, you're just that far ahead than all of them.
I mean, like, think about it. Like, once he pops that Q and they're like, wow, they need no ults to beat us. Is that how cocky they are? And then Sky managed, they don't expect it. They're like, oh, they use Death Blossom. They have no ult. Let's go. Sky hits the Shatter, managed to get some trades back. And then from there, it's just pandemonium, which, you know what Junkrat likes? Besides explosives? Pandemonium.
Yeah, it's true. He does. One thing I will say that I think was helped aid in the effectiveness of that Junkrat is that there was no Lucio for Blixkys, and they were running the Reinhardt, and how much burst damage that Crafty was taking, I think, was very unexpected, right? I mean, especially just trying to fight for their life on the cart and just immediately getting blown up, just trying to fire strike. I mean, we've felt that before a lot, and there's no damage mitigation there because the ball's off doing ball things. There's no Zarya, there's no Diva to help that main tank. It just makes it a very tough life. As you see, Crafty is now actually being subbed out for this final game on LiJiang against LiJiang.
I think maybe that's going against them. I know it's not my place a lot of the time to say like what the inner workings of a team are, but when you see so many swaps coming out so often on a map, especially in a game where you might get reverse swept, you're still making swaps around. I mean, we did this as well. I mean, we did this.
I was saying we can speak with some experience on this.
We did this the first week we played in this tournament. We did this. We swapped us every single map, and it ended up being where unfortunately how the cards fell. It just felt like. It wasn't helping us in any way. It might have not been hurting us that much, but it wasn't helping.
Yeah, shout out for me for losing all the games I was in.
No, it wasn't Beak's fault. It was my fault.
You winning all the maps.
I wasn't providing enough moral support. It's actually all my fault.
That's exactly, yeah. Sure. But here
Beak's
we
an
are,
amazing main tank.
headed to LiJiang.
Against LiJiang
here against LiJiang. Exactly, as a pause is going to come in here. I think we have maybe a disconnect. I don't know, but. I mean, we can't talk more about the fact that there might actually be a reverse sweep coming out. We talked a little bit about this being a possibility, because LiJiang was still close. I mean, especially on control, it was anyone's game, at least in that first match or in that first map before they went to that second map, and it was pretty much all Blixkys against and all aspect really with that rotation. So will we see more of that as we see the ball is being hinted at by X2FO? Aspect is again holding true on that Doomfist. I mean, what do you think, Worst? What should LiJiang do if in this situation?
Um, I guess just keep playing to their strengths. You know, they Novi on that Zarya is obviously what you want to keep going with. You want that Zarya there. I think you want to go for those comfort picks. You will see the Symmetra. They've shown Symmetra a lot throughout this thing. It worked with some effect on Eichenwald on that first point, and I think this LiJiang is one of the maps where two of the maps you can actually run Symmetra very effectively
Very
in a
true.
lot of ways. But also I want to say that I do like the ball pick from X2FO, especially when there's not a Reinhardt on your team as well. So that's good. I think that's a good thing not to have the Reinhardt with the ball. I think that was a problem that has been sorted out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be I don't know what's gonna happen here. I mean, because we see just the roulette, like you said, of players on Blixkys, and not only just of the players themselves, but on the roles. Like you've seen Zooey play a couple different roles here, in just this match alone, from DPS to tank, and doing a pretty decent job of it. But as we're gonna head into this last map, is that gonna be a difference maker, right? Because if you have the context and chemistry of a team that's playing the same roles, same characters this entire time, and then you're swapping people in and out. I mean, I know we do it to decent effect and on our team, sometimes,
Decent.
but to decent effect, that is a very yes, very and just very carefully worded statement there. But we do see that both of these teams are going to be a little more dive heavy in competition.
Yeah, and we are going to see here the ball instead of that monkey. We are going to see the D.Va as well from Novi. I would have liked to see that Zarya, especially against this Aspect Doomfist, as it does provide a little bit more of that defense against it. As Aspect actually going to go very low and will be hunted down by that D.Va in the backline. X2FO going to get that boot down, but then going to shield up immediately. Oh, almost going off the edge is the Zarya here, but the flashbang does manage to miss, but still, as Bamf is walking back. Oh no!
He is disconnected, ladies and gentlemen.
He's disconnected. He's not. No!
Yep, look at the sky, buddy.
He's back. Okay, he's back. We got it. As he will be pushing towards this point, but they did get the cap in the meantime. A little bit unfortunate. We saw this multiple times this game. As Shadow Thief does manage to find an Aspect here. As Potato coming back in, looking for that McCree maybe doesn't manage to find it. It's now going back on Zarya. We'll get one shot once again, but managed to get pooped up onto the high ground. But now getting stunned by this Brig. Oh, just bashing his brains in, which is a little graphic now that I think about it. Probably shouldn't say that on cast, but now we were looking here. We see the Coalescence coming out here at the back end of the fight. Jabberwocky going low though, is getting beamed down and will find their life forfeit. As even with Bamf disconnecting, they will manage to win the team fight in the end and will manage to flip this fight back. But 28% for
we say in the end, but I mean that early cap by LiJiang I think makes a huge difference in how we want to look at that fight. I mean, that fight took forever. I mean, we already have Zooey have a grab ready to go. Aspect has that Doomfist all ready to go as well. But I mean, what chaos that was in terms of just everyone just pretty much just went head to head at each other and see whoever, basically a battle royale in LiJiang Garden in this final fight.
Yeah, and we do see this grab here available. It's going to be kind of the difference maker. Walking in, you're going to see them pop it right now as the basketball following up immediately with this Meteor Strike. The beat, though, does keep them alive, but Bamf does have that space with that High Noon and does manage to live as Shadow Thief off the edge, going to reset here as that Brig will be rezzed up as well. And now back to the drawing board here, but you did get out a fair few ultimates if you are LiJiang Legion, so you're quite happy with that trade.
For sure. And now you have Shadow Thief with that Echo duplicate, and Potato has that ultimate of their own. So Sky is going to have to lead the charge here with this initiation on this monkey, see if they can sustain at least on point without having to use Primal Rage early. But let's see what Shadow Thief does with this copy.
Yeah, and now they will be copying over to that ball, looking for those early mines to control that point. As actually Novi will be sent over into the abyss below, as now you do have those copy mines available. Potato finding the Meteor Strike straight on top of Bam, trading that out, but Aspect not going to let himself be one up by the enemy. Doomfist is going to take out Potato, as now you do see here the Res coming out though, and this should be the fight going the way of Blixkys, as now Aspect going for that backline here. The mines finding Sky in the end. the ball here from Nervy Titan, coming back after getting knocked off on that Zarya. Now we've seen Nervy Titan, this is his third hero Zeon. He's not even going to be able to build up any ults this fight. That's kind of an unfortunate.
Yeah, absolute worst case scenario for LiJiang. They invested virtually everything into that. Potato gets killed early, and really the only contest is going to be Sky. He does get grabbed in the window, and that's an early death.
Yeah, that's a really good grab there, finding out the monkey early, as now there will be Bamf checking that window, not letting anyone in, as now he's shifting off to the left once again.
Bye-bye, Bamf.
His classic maneuver. Bye-bye, as the pause comes out, and we may be losing him, as we do in fact see him. 5
He's out.
Sky going low. He's gone. Gone. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
He has to be like a step away from the edge of LiJiang garden right now. He just walks right past the hut, and he's just right on the edge. He's about to jump, but you know, I mean, it is going to be ending as we do see him DC in earnest. But it really won't matter because Blixkys winning this fight, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there's three dead for LiJiang. They're in overtime. Yeah, it's not looking good for them. As we see, Bamf is joining the game right again. They're wondering how many pauses does this man get? How many times can he zone out into La La Land?
Can we get a mod check? Can we get a mod check?
How many times can he zone out into the ether and still be effective? So it's been all Blixkys so far, even with Bamf daydreaming.
They will be taking that point there as Monkey comes back in. Sky won't last very long though. Big gonna be flailing him down as Genji gonna try to touch but won't be able to. Because now he's back, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully for good. I'm not sure completely about the rules because I don't do my due diligence sometimes to check the rules about how these situations may work if Bamf disconnects once again. But we might see the return.
I believe you remember.
I believe it. Is it not time? Yeah, it's both quantity and time based. And I think that's like this like fourth time.
That's at least the second pause.
At least
and I don't know how much time it's taken. I don't know how quick the stopwatches of the side of LiJiang are, but you know, you have to think forward, right? They're down one here regardless. They were playing down a man, right? They had a power play and they still lost that match. So now they're gonna go in with dueling Symmetris here on LiJiang Night Market.
Obviously, the counter strategy, we see this all the time, as both of them go up. The flashbang already out here, as instead it will be Bamf going out of that teleporter very early, just deleted instantly. Now there's Doomfist here from the side of Potatoes. I actually like it a lot more than that McCree because it can get through the shields here and get to that Symmetra. Because what can end up what can end up happening is the Symmetra can get set up and then no one can kill him because there's shields in the way, and now you have a Doomfist.
Yeah, well, they have Aspect playing the role of the Symmetra, right? Instead of, you know, Bamf has been typically obviously playing the McCree, but I think you just obviously have to keep him on that Doomfist. But you know, as we see, they're gonna try and take this courtyard early, or at least fake it out with that TP. But Sky already has 72% to that Shatter, and then Job is gonna have a window when they try and take this.
Yeah, window is going to be so hard to push into here, and you're going to see, but he goes down! That's the window gone! That's exactly what you need! Now, you're going to have that wall coming out from Symmetra, and X2FO does find the Fire Strike onto Potato. The Symmetra free-firing, nothing can stop them, except for maybe the other wall, but that just charges them up even further. But now Shadow Thief trying to carry this for themselves. They have the wall, the later wall, but they get pushed in! The turrets go through that shield and manage to take them out as Nervy Titan, they're looking to touch point as soon as possible, but won't be able to do it. No personal bubble available, and they will be going down, but they can't clean up this fight. Grabbing the Reinhardt by himself. They will be going for this McCree though. We'll be able to find him. And now, trying to clean this up, trying to cap this point before they can retake it. Zui back on that Zarya. Lucio going to be taken up by that Fire Strike and a little bit of a left click there as they manage to retake the point. A great job from Shadow Thief on the end of that fight to get that wall off and do their damage.
Yeah, but so disjointed by both teams. You're seeing that these fights end, but then there's still like an auxiliary fight after the fact. Like there's a prologue to them and there's an epilogue to each one of these fights. It's just stories on stories of their own. And regardless, throughout all of that, you get 60% charge here for LiJiang on this capture. This guy has another shatter ready to go, but X2FO can maybe block.
Oh, a massive shatter here. X2FO does not, in fact, block it, but the shield, no shield available, and X2FO has a shatter of his own. But now, the flashbang itself, damage boosted by that window, does take out Sky, but won't be living long as in that immortality field is Nuri Titan. But the flashbang kill through the Amp Magic is not something I've seen before. That's quite the interesting way to take out a Reinhardt.
Yeah, I want the, that's a new meta that I want, is the flashbang meta. You know, you buff, you nerf McCree's
Double
health.
the stun time.
Nerf McCree's health because he doesn't deserve to be 225 health anymore. There's no reason for it. And then make his flashbang like 600 HP and see what happens.
Look at
Don't let me balance this game, guys, everyone.
Look at the wrecking ball. Look at the wrecking ball with the Reinhardt. He does have that shatter though. The bubble will be coming up to grab as well. The shatter does come down on this guy, but only one is found. Already dead is that immortality field, and now it's just a cleanup. Even with this wall on the point, Symmetra won't last very long, as we do see the ball there coming out for the stall. Obviously not as egregious as that ball on the first point of Rialto, but still tying us up 1-1 again, trading back in dominant fashion, looking to take this map. And again, the reverse sweep was, Captain Jack would say, beat reverse sweep.
Yeah, I saw him commenting in the chat here right after Eichenwald.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, shout out to Jack there for that trademark for him. I don't think it is trademark for him, but either way, he says it a lot. But LiJiang has no quit in this team, in this squad, right? Even when you think things are looking pretty rough for them on that first point of LiJiang on Garden, it all comes down to one of our favorite maps, LiJiang Control Center.
Reinhardt, I love you. But this is time. Potato can actually pop off on this Junkrat. We've seen it on Rialto, and now we're going to see it again. But Bamf as well is going to look for the Junkrat, but we do see the Symmetra Junk. Look at this spam damage. You can't walk through that choke. Get back into main. You cannot last in that choke for very long, as they will be pushing up. You will see this Doofus will get hit, punch the Fortified Orisa. She's not going to go anywhere, but you do get the Fortify out early. So again, this Junkrat trying to flank around, but there's just Symmetra turrets up the wazoo, and now it's going to be Potato looking to take this damage on this main, try to fire him up that tire and look for as much damage as possible. There's no shielding here though available for LiJiang, but a nice pin, but counter pinned as well, just punched into a wall. The immortality field does keep them alive for long enough, and now Potato on that backline looking for something. A massive shadow coming out from Zui, and now looking to take this point by force, but they did manage to flip that point very early, so LiJiang Legion is going to have some percent to answer.
And this is best case scenario for Blixkys right now, because the composition that LiJiang is running is really smart when you take control of that white room, which they really did. So unless this composition plays really fast, they don't have to sustain this comp of LiJiang does. But they're already giving up that choke, which could be so important with that wall. Shatter!
Three-man shatter coming out from this guy, charging forward on 2 HP, well, that's the play, but you will have this tire here from Potato, looking for something, probably on Zaya, and no, going for the Ana once again. We saw it on Rialto, but we'll get straight out. The Meteor Strike coming down on top of his head while he is commanding that tire, and now they will lose this fight. That was their fight to win. They had such a massive ult advantage there, but Sky taking a little bit of a nosedive straight into the enemy team, loses their life.
But still, even so, the defense used pretty much everything other than Bamf having this tire, and there's only 40%, so they did lose in a decently fast fashion, but both support ultimates are online to try and take this.
The trap! He's cracked! Trap placement on point here, as now they beat out to get some aggressive positioning here. But X2FO does have that grab, and Bamf finds two on the backside, and now we go through the floor on LiJiang, seeing where the team did go, as now the grab still available. X2FO looking to do it as much as possible with Sky, holding that shield, holding it strong, as now Nervy Titan will be beaming them down. Now that X2FO has held that grab for enough time, it's actually given Nervy Titan the time to build up a grab of his own.
Oh my god, just no matter what, they still find a way to live. With Bamf getting those early 2 kills, not being able to get that immortality field out quick enough, Nervy Titan just going burr on everybody during that mid fight, and they have another grab ready to go. Potato almost has another tire ready to go, so they can hold this for a decently long time if they want. But I don't know. Blixkys has ult of their own to be able to use.
Yeah, it is going to be Sky walking into that grab, does find the kill onto Zui, does manage to live just long enough, going a little bit low HP. Aspect diving into the backline, does get his health taken away from him, as now there's no staggers here for LiJiang. They can have this forward hold where this comp really does excel.
Yeah, but you have to see, I don't think they really want to, it doesn't seem like. They want to try and space out as much as possible, to take as much poke, or have them take as much poke as possible. And Zui has the Shadow ready to go, and the Nano to keep him alive if so, but Potato, the tire gets taken out.
Again, through the map as now the grab will be launched forward here. You do have the immortality, but oh, a Shadow getting countered out, and now the Nano going down onto Zui. Will let him just walk forward here, but now you have that wall available here for Shadow Thief. This is now the next fight is theirs to try and take as much as possible, as that Ana is coming back from spawn still. And they have TP!
Back and forth though has been wild so far. Zui's still holding onto that Shadow, but the wall comes in. They're gonna have to back up, but Aspect doesn't know the definition of back up.
Aspect going forward, finding the pick on the Shadow Thief, such a massive pick, looking for that Baptiste as well. The bubble though from Novi Titan is going to be massive. As now, oh, I thought that he was beating, but no, 5 still has that beat. He's going to be beating as fast as possible. Does get that counter beat off. Shatter straight into the shield of Sky. A great counter there as Potato and Bam managed to trade each other out. As Novi Titan on this left side trying to win, but no, it looks like they're losing the fight. This is a massive misstep here for LiJiang Legion, as now they could end up losing this series. Now, the reverse sweep, they could taste it, they could feel it, but they couldn't obtain it, as a crushing defeat here, as Blixkys finally manages to take the win after a 2-map stall from LiJiang Legion.
Worst. What a finale to that. Oh my god. I mean, I have to say that the biggest difference maker there at the end, I mean, there was a lot of contributions there, was Aspect just fragging out though. I mean, it's just the beat though. The beat coming in for the side of Blixkys in that fight was, I think, what helped them sustain even the onslaught from LiJiang, which ended up being, I think, so important in that final fight. I just, man, but the fight that LiJiang had throughout this whole map, it was so close to being that reverse sweep, but it wasn't meant to be. But man, they made Blixkys work for their win tonight.
Yeah, and while it does feel bad to work so hard and end up not taking that victory there, you have to look at it. You did fight back. At least you fought back. It's better than just going down quietly. You showed that you still have that fight. Obviously, both these teams coming out of here, maybe one's a little more disappointed than the other, but at least you have the knowledge that you can compete. You can fight with these other teams, and you do kind of deserve to be here because it was such a close. It came down to one final fight on the last final round of the final map. So, I mean, all power. Yeah. Can you ask for more as a team? Can you ask for more? If you lose, can you ask for anything more as a team than to lose in that manner? That's the manner you want to lose in if you do lose. Because if you lose, like, just going down 3-0, that shows that they're just so much better than you. But if you at least lose like that, you know that you have the ability to take them out.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, they were pretty equal for most of that, and just the fight that they had. It could have gone either way, and I think that just really underscores the importance of control maps, right? I mean, LiJiang went 0-2 on control, and that could be a difference maker, right? When you look at the other game modes that we played, they ended up winning 2 out of the 3 other ones, and still, there are the 2 control maps that you have to play at a 5-game series here. When you get to that 2v2 match point, you lose both, right? And it's close, right? But then that's where those difference makers really rely. So, I mean, a good hard fought win for Blixkys in the end.
Yep, and of course, that was it here for tonight for the Transcendence featured match of the week, but there's still more to come. We do have a great match tomorrow, in fact, between SEAL Team Spot and Monarch for the Discord tier, so please check that out. That's going to be a great match and a pretty good look to come of some of the stronger teams in that tier. As now, we're coming out of this match, we do see these 2 teams moving in. Stage 2, going to be a good one. You can see if this match is any indication, but that has been all for tonight. Again, this is the first week of Stage 2, so it's still 2 more weeks to go before that seeding for that playoffs bracket is decided. But I have been your play-by-play worst cast, and I have been joined here by...
Beak.
Just Beak.
Beak.
At Beakcast. Follow him. Please follow him. Exactly. He's great. Amazing. And of course, being produced by the amazing Booth thank you so much for that, because we could not do any of this without the magic that you pull in the
Right.
background. So thank you very much for that. And again, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that match, and good night, everyone.
Mm-hmm.